All right, welcome back. We're going to move on to the sixth and final page of the listing agreement, WB1 residential listing contract. So again, one thing I didn't mention is just make certain that if I have everything pre-typed, that on the top of page 6, the property address is there and it's correct. So just another opportunity to check that. Uh, Now, the next section talks about delivery of documents and written notices. I want to make sure we pay careful attention to this because this is when, let's say, I lose the listing because it expires and I need to provide the list of protected buyers. This is going to say what delivery could be done as. And there's a number of options. And it says, unless otherwise stated, delivery of documents and written notices to a party shall be effective only when accomplished by one of the following methods specified. Number one, personal delivery. So handing the documents to the party, always a great option. And then what you want to do though is put in the address for delivery, right? So let's say it's their house. So I'm going to type that in so that we've got clarity there. And let's see, let's Pittsburgh, Wisconsin 53711, and then you want to put in the firm's address, whether it's Zor Shrine or whether it's 200 River Place. Again, it depends on which market center you're with, but put in your market center address in that one. And then number two would be fax. Now, if you don't check the box, fax is not an option. And more times than not, no one uses fax. So typically I won't. Commercial delivery says that you could drop the documents prepaid or charged to an account with a commercial delivery service addressed to either party and have it addressed to the addresses up here. Excuse me, typically don't do that. You could be, but that'd be commercial delivery. U.S. mail, not a huge fan of that one because it says once it's dropped in the box, it's done. So the seller could drop something in the mailbox, and that's considered delivery, if you will. Although it might make sense based on where the seller lives. So maybe you've got an out-of-state seller, so U.S. mail might make sense. And again, then you're going to want to put in the correct addresses for both them and you. And then email. Now that's one that gets used more and more. And here's the thing: if you're going to choose email, make sure you get a good email address for your seller and you type that in. So that again, any of these are optional. All of them could be used or checked. Just think about the ramifications based on what that is. Additional provisions, if you're using the dot loop version of this, we've got this tied in. This is about a do not call list, and it says that during the time of the listing agreement, the seller's allowing us to call them about services. So I'd want to put in their phone number to make sure that's complete. And then if there's any addendum attached to this, and let's say I'm going to remember I referenced my marketing plan addendum, so I'm going to reference that here again to say it's attached. In terms of listing agreement, today is the 29th of day of June as I do this, 2018. So I'm going to type that in. Now, here's the thing to think about. This is the length of the contract itself. If the average days on market right now in this market segment for this type of property is 90 days, I always, always, always want to go further than that. So just a little strategy. So I'll say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, here's the deal. What I'd like to do is have at least 5 months to make sure that we get the property sold. It gets you where you want to go in the time frame you need. And I typically, and this is just something I've learned, I'll typically do my expirations on the 15th of the month, not end of the month, because end of the month is busy. You get a lot of deals going, you got a lot of closings. So I'll take it to the 15th day and let's go 5 months. So that would be November 2018, right? So that's the length of this contract. And then it's signatures at all. Now, if they give you pushback on this, here's the thing. I'll say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the other thing I'm willing to do is I'll add a clause that says if you're unhappy with my service at any point in time whatsoever, you could cancel this agreement by sending me notice in writing, and that keeps me on my toes. When I was listing property, I always offered that I would do a separate addendum and call it my cancellation agreement, and I would tie that in, and it would just say that. And I've had that happen only one time in 29 years that someone exercised it. It keeps you on your toes, allows them to feel comfortable about these dates, and just a way to do that. Now, It says below it's by signing, the seller acknowledges receipt of a copy of this agreement. So you've got to make sure you provide that to them, and they've read all 6 pages as well as any addendum we might add, and then they can sign. Now, here's the mistake I see being made. So these are just the seller's signatures. There's up to 4 lines for that. This is where we make a mistake. It's a seller entity name. So let's say the seller was a limited liability corporation, an LLC or an S corp. They wouldn't individually sign. Someone who's been given authority to sign on behalf of the LLC or S corp would sign here. So I would type in, Homesmith LLC, and then that's the seller entity name, and then we would have them, and this is a mistake I see on this, so I've got to get it fixed on your zip form. This would be their name, not listing broker name. So I see it's a mistake here in .loop, at least in the version I've got. I'm going to get that fixed right after we're done with this video. So it'll say entity, authorized entity signature. So whoever has authorization to sign on behalf of Homesmith LLC, you sign here, right? So this is a mistake on this form. I'll get that fixed. I'm sorry that that's there. And that's the WB1, the listing offer to purchase. Now, again, the WB2, which is the condo listing agreement, I should say, is very similar. There's a few changes because it's specific to condominiums, and you can read through that, and I think it'll be clear for you. Thanks for watching this series. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to your supervising brokers in each market center or me with any confusion that there might be or clarifications. Thanks.